Hello, everybody. My name is Angie, and in this podcast, I will share my transformational journey to become a health coach. In each episode, I will address a different subject that impacts our health, whether physically, mentally, emotionally, or spiritually. Because I've learned that being healthy means being in balance. If you would like to make amazing discoveries, improve your health, get inspired, and yet find sustainable ways to live and help the planet, tune in. You are in the right place. I'm your host, Ana Rezende, and Good is What Makes You Feel Well is Mama Terra's podcast.
Toma banho de cachoeira, abraça uma pessoa amiga, corre na chuva, escala a montanha, contempla a vista, transcende, levita.
Today's guest is someone whose presence on and off the mat is equal parts grounding and inspiring. Angie Miller is a yoga teacher, educator, mother, wife, and lifelong student of what it means to live with courage, compassion, and purpose. After completing her undergraduate and graduate work in education in the mid-90s, Angie never expected to find herself in a yoga class. But from the very first moment, something clicked. That class would spark a lifelong journey of transformation, healing, and heart-centered teaching. Angie's evolution from student to teacher has been guided by a deep belief in the power of showing up fully, as yourself as you are. Her classes go far beyond the poses, inviting her students to cultivate bravery, kindness, and connection with the spirit. In this conversation, we will explore Angie's unexpected path into yoga, the lessons it continues to teach her, and how she's literally using her voice as the lead singer on the Smuggler'Z in yoga practice to touch lives and build a more conscious, compassionate world. Please welcome Angie Faith Miller. Good morning, Angie.
Hi, Anna.
Welcome to Good is What Makes You Feel Well.
I'm so happy to be here today. It's an honor.
I'm so happy to have you. Just for us to start our conversation, I would like to ask you, what in this moment of your life makes you feel well?
I think it's about just having a positive outlook on life and knowing that everything we go through, we grow through. So having gratitude and good days, bad days, and all in between. And also a big part of that is making sure we take time to take care of ourselves, like do things that light us up as human beings. I think at many times, at least this is my perspective, when you're not taking care of yourself, you become unhealthy in your thoughts, your body, your mind, it's all connected. I kind of feel like I've figured that one out for now. Stay tuned, but gratitude is, for me, what keeps me well.
That is awesome. Awesome. So tell me how this concept of feeling well has evolved throughout your life.
Well, I think a big part of it, I'm going to be 55 this year. Yay. I really love this stage of my life. In my 20s, I think I looked at being well as more of a physical thing, like, exercising and getting outdoors and that kind of stuff and physically working my body. But now as I get older, it's actually more of an internal practice where being well comes from inside of me and all this positive dialogue that I have with myself about physically being fit, obviously, diet, exercise, walking outside in nature, just enjoying the simple things in life. That right now for me has been really, I think, kind of like a pivotal moment is getting up every morning and being grateful that I can have my cup of coffee in my chair, or I can spend time with my husband or walk my dog or talk to my kids, all of those things just keep me happy and healthy.
Yay.
Yay.
I know you have this long story with yoga.
Yes.
Tell me how yoga entered your life.
It's actually a pretty amazing story because I literally stumbled into my first yoga class. It was not something on my to-do list. I was actually at a local gym in '94 going to kickboxing.
Wow.
And my instructor, Frenchie, was sick that day. And so we're all sitting and waiting for him to arrive. And in walks this, I've never experienced this before with a person, but she was literally lit up with light around her. Like I saw it. She had 4 yoga mats under her arms. She walked in her bare feet. And I said to my friend, I'm like, who is that? And she's like, oh, that's Julie. That's the yoga teacher. And I'm like, I'm out of here. I'm going to go hit the elliptical. This is not for me. This is not something I want to do for me. I felt like, again, being well had to be really physical, really sweaty. I had to see how many calories I burned. Like I had that mindset.
And yoga is not.
And yoga is not, right? But the universe, I think, was conspiring for me. And my friend at the time, my teaching colleague, when I used to be a school teacher, she was with me and she's like, Angie, she's like, you should stay. I think you need it. That kind of set me back a little bit because I was a relatively private person, kind of a closed, darker person in my 20s that I am now in my 50s. And because I loved and appreciated my friend so much and I didn't want to hurt her feelings because I am a people pleaser and a peacemaker, I always have been, I stayed. And I left that class, just I felt a shift in my being. Like I went to the bathroom. I didn't even know how to contain myself. I went to the bathroom and started crying. Like just had this moment of just, I don't know, an awakening, so to speak. And I haven't left the mat since. I'm like 31 years into yoga, and yoga still keeps just surprising me, enlightening me. It changes and grows with us over time. There's just so many benefits to yoga. I mean, I could go on and on, probably this whole podcast about yoga, but I won't. I'm sure there's other things we want to talk about. But yeah, it was just about being open. And to me, that's really what I try to be, is open, because you never know, the next mind-blowing, heart-changing experience is just right around the corner by just being open to something that you don't think you might want to do, but then you do it. That's my yoga story. Being open to something that I never thought I could ever want or need so much.
And how that shaped you?
It made me take more time inside instead of outside. Like, I mean, to be transparent, I was 24 years old. I was a bulimic. I had a lot of issues with self-image and self-doubt and no confidence. Didn't like my reflection in the mirror. I was 30 pounds heavier than I am now. And yoga was literally, I say to people all the time when they ask me my story, it saved my life. Within a few months of practice, I started not focusing so much on the outside, but it just happened organically. Like it wasn't a forced thing. It was just something that I just allowed myself to be open to, breathing and going inward and all the things that I think as yogis we do our best to practice on a daily. Is it easy? No, I still struggle with my reflection in the mirror. I think we all do, you know. But what I realized is the outside of me wasn't as important as taking care from the inside. And then just all these miraculous things started happening. I started loving myself. I started being a better wife, a better mother, a better friend, a better just human being. And I think it was just because I wasn't so focused on my exterior, which I don't anymore. I said our beauty comes from within us. And I just, for the first time, I think, found that through that yoga journey. So, and it keeps evolving over time. That's the great thing, is there's no destination with yoga. It's just an ever-changing, growing journey. So I'm just, again, just started to be open to what happens next. Yeah.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
Well, tell me about singing, because I know singing is really important, and it's another thing that lights you up.
Oh, it does.
Right?
Again, just like my yoga journey, music was the same thing. Like I've always been a lover of music. I've always been that kind of like, one person concert in my car kind of person. But it just came from being open to something my daughter just casually said to me one day. She was herself going through a musical journey of piano and vocals, and I would go to support her. I'd go to her classes and I'd sit in the back, and I'd sometimes, get a little tempted to sing along and maybe hum a little bit. And I would practice with her. And so one day she said, Mom, she goes, I think you need to start singing. And I'm like, oh, come on, this is your thing. We never want to overshadow our children. We want them to be free to do what they want to do. And she's like, no, this isn't my thing anymore. You should do it. So again, leaning into something I never thought I would do, took my first vocal lesson with a very good friend of mine, Jay Martini. Jay. He said, I don't say this to many people, but you were born to do this.
Whoa.
And do it. And so I did. I leaned into it, and I started performing in bands and doing covers, and it's been such an amazing evolution again. Just wonderful people I've met through music. And what I love about music, same with yoga, is it's an equalizer, right? It's the perfect opportunity to express ourselves and connect with other people on a human level. And for me, I always tell people I'm not really a singer or a performer, I'm a connector. And just like with yoga and teaching yoga, is I love that I get to connect with people on a human level, and music just draws that out of people, memories from one song, they're singing along, they're dancing, it to me is the best part of music and being a performer is just how it lights other people up. And by lighting other people up, then I get more lit. You know what I mean? So anyways, it's good stuff.
It makes you feel really well.
It does. I mean, there's to me, it is probably, and I have a lot of things that make me well. I'm so grateful for that. I say I have a lot of favorite things in life, and I do. But there's something about music that, and you've seen me perform, and I know it because I feel the light just coming out of me when I sing.
Yeah, you were awesome.
There's just something like I've never experienced before. And I think it just comes from passion for music and always wanting to somehow connect with other people. That's always been my goal, is to connect on a human level with people. Like I got into teaching, I was a teacher for many years, and then that went into yoga, and then I went into being an owner of a studio that went into all the other things I do now. It's just like I crave connection. I think we should all connect. Mm-hmm. We need to do more of that, and so music, yoga, all that stuff brings us together in a very positive way. Yeah, it does. And that's what we need, more positivity in this world.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So, anyways.
I'm a believer too.
I know you are, girlfriend.
I'm a believer, a big believer. So, tell me the journey from a bulimic that didn't have any confidence, it was dark inside, to performing in a stage like you do today and lead a yoga class like you do today. Like you are actually in your body, like fully aware, fully conscious and present, and so positive and so confident. So I think yoga is part of it, but how was that journey?
I think it is a combination of my yoga practice for sure, but also my faith in God. I was born charismatic Christian, I got my cross on, and I've always turned to God for pretty much everything. And I've prayed a lot, and I continue to pray every day. And I think that this faith that I have and this reliance on God, and I'm going to cry, but it really is why I have so much positivity, and I'm so present moment, and I'm so grateful. And I think that just with yoga bringing me more inward and making more of that connection with myself and my inner light that comes from my faith in God has brought me to where I am right now. And I have this profound sense of His presence when I practice yoga, all the things in my life, whether it be the good days, the bad days, the in-between days, but it's just, I have this, this feeling of warmth and support. And because I have that faith, I think that's why I am such a positive person, because there's light that lives inside of me that is projecting out. And I just trust in it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I 100% agree. What I say usually is that faith is my safety net.
Yes.
So I'm never afraid to lean in.
No, that's so true.
Because it is my safety net.
Yes.
I trust so much, and my faith is so it's so strong.
Yeah.
That I don't fear anything.
No. And the great thing too about being a person of faith is when we have those days that are dark and we go through loss or we're uncertain, I always know that God's working through my life. If something happens in my life that's tragic, and we all have tragedy, the first thing I say is, Lord, what are you teaching me today? What am I going to learn? I know I'm going to learn. I'm going to grow through this. And we do. We grow through it, because like you said, we have that safety net of our faith to know when to lean in, when to pray, when to get down on our knees. And I do so much of that. And I mean, I was brought up, just you lay your hands on someone when they're going through something. And I do it every day. Like, I feel like God works through me when I teach my classes. Like, my classes, I feel like a projection of my faith in God. And I love that I'm able to do that. He works through me. It's been such a wonderful marriage of sort to be a person of spirit and be able to shed his light through yoga and make it accessible to everybody. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
So,
yeah, I'm a believer too. And the faith is really something that is really important for me.
Oh, it is.
And the teachings on the hardship, like I said, there is always a contribution. So what should we learn from this? And I think it's so incredible every time you speak through what you went through with your yoga studio.
Yeah.
And how COVID happened, and then actually you came to a new stage in your life.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah. So 2020, I guess 2021, spring of 2021, everything shut down overnight. And I had, I would say, a few hours of self-doubt and fear and a panic of like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? And I said, Lord, guide me. What do you want me to do? What do you want me to do? And so I started the whole Zoom thing. We did the Zoom thing, and it was great because as much as I'm not a fan of Zoom because I like physical contact with people, I'm a connector. Again, I had to lean into something brand new, and it actually was quite enlightening. I learned a lot from that experience. I learned that it was better than nothing, and it did bring us together, but just in a different way. But, being a small business, when you're not open for months at a time, and you still aren't open, and then months turns into almost a year, and you're trying to pay your bills. And, I didn't take a salary the whole time during COVID.
So you have to pay.
I have to pay my bills. Like, I wasn't at home making an income, which, for me, that was a struggle because I had a lot of friends that were at home making money and being able to sustain and thrive. And I didn't have that option. I didn't have options. That was the thing that frustrated me about the pandemic is everybody was doing the best that they possibly could, but it would have been nice to have more choices on how we live our lives, And so, but going through that process was exactly what God needed me to do because I never thought I would ever leave my community. I loved my community so much. I called it my tribe, the BSY tribe, loved them. But because we went through that evolution, it made me seek change, profound change. Like, I didn't even know what it was going to be, but I knew it was time to shift. And it brought me to Tennessee. Like, Tennessee was not even on the radar at all. And now I look back at that and said, okay, God, you knew what you were doing. Because if my community was thriving, I wouldn't have wanted to seek change, and I wouldn't want to have closed my doors and move to another state and start all over again and leave everything I ever knew, So it was quite miraculous. And I look back at it now with so much gratitude for leaning into change. That was super scary in the beginning, messy in the middle, but oh so beautiful in the end. Like, that quote got me through that transition because now I look at my life now and it's beautiful. It's totally different than what I ever thought I would ever want. But again, just like yoga, I don't know I don't even know what my life would be without where I'm at right now. So I don't know. It's good stuff. It's just, again, like you said, it is leaning into that safety net of faith and knowing through the process that God has my back, like, and feeling his presence. You know, my husband and I are always about that. We call ourselves floaters, like feathers in the breeze. And I think a lot of it comes from us just being so like aware of God's presence and trusting him. And it's brought us to where we are, and wherever we end up, I know he'll have his hands in it. So anyways.
Yeah. Change is always so interesting because we fear it somehow.
Yeah.
Sometimes we resist it. But if we think about the fear can prevent us to have something worse, but can also prevent us from having something better.
100%. 100%. I have found that fear is actually a catalyst for change and growth for me. And so my husband and I call it embracing the suck, like leaning into something that is scary, but again, working through fear. You know, the idea of fearless, it just doesn't vibe with me. Like, we have to feel fear. Like, it is part of the human experience to feel fear. To say you're fearless, I'm sorry. We have to feel fear. That's how we decide, are we going to actually get up and respond and move, or are we going to let it paralyze us? And what I've learned through the years, and again, it goes back to yoga and it goes back to my faith, is when I get afraid, I know I'm going to grow, you know? And so I have to kind of just say, you know what? I'm going to do it. I'm going to lean into this, you know? And because I know on the other side of fear could be that next amazing thing in my life. So I kind of lean into it now. I'm like, ooh, this is scary. Ooh, I like it. Let's see what happens, right?
So tell me about community.
My thing is, I am all about building relationships with people and building community. I think because when we build community, then we grow by being around other people and sharing our lives and sharing our stories. And so when I opened my studio in Chicago, that was like my primary kind of focus was I want to build a community of people that share common interests, obviously yoga and all the other wonderful things we did there. But then we also start to learn and grow through each other's experiences, through their stories, through relationships. And so I just try to, through everything that I do, whether it's my neighborhood community, I just am so blessed in where I live here in Tennessee. I mean, God really put me in the perfect place. The people that are in my neighborhood, and I know they're going to be listening to this podcast, you know I'm talking about Lashbrook. It's just been such a godsend. And we never would have come together as a community, a circle of friends, if it weren't for yoga, actually. I started teaching yoga classes for the neighborhood to build community.
Is there a community center there?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So when we moved into our neighborhood, you know, I went from teaching, you know, multiple classes a day and working 7 days a week, 365 to nothing. And so I was really seeking things that were going to fill up my cup. And one of it is yoga and being around other people and teaching, you know. So I started this class and started out with just a couple people in the neighborhood. And now we've got, I think, about 40 people in our neighborhood that are a part of this dynamic community. We call it the Lashbrook Yogis. And the great thing is yoga brought us together. But now, you know, it's a group text and like, hey, I need help with this. Hey, okay, I got you. Hey, who has this? I got you. What, you know, it is that building of community and trusting in those relationships, you know. And so, and then I have the music community and the yoga community, you know what I mean? I think you can have community in pretty much every situation. You just got to take time to build it. Yeah. Find your people. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I'm all about, at this point in my life, authenticity and transparency and vulnerability and all of these things that I think some of us try to resist, is because vulnerability maybe is a sign of weakness. For me, it's a sign of strength. Like, I'm going to be vulnerable and I'm going to be myself. And my people will get me, and the people that don't, that's okay. Like, I'm just going to focus on staying in my own lane and doing what feels good and being around people that build me and I can build them up. To me, that's what community is.
Yeah, Absolutely. And I love it.
Anyways, it's just like the Yoga Mix community. Talk about a dynamic, diverse community.
Yeah.
What a godsend that was for me. I mean, how long have you been with the Yoga Mix?
Almost 3 years.
Okay.
Yeah, it's going to be 3 years. Yeah, in October, I think. Yeah.
That's awesome.
I'm new too.
Yeah, well, you know,
Tell me about change.
right? Well, I mean, when I moved here, I was quite frankly, again, being transparent because I don't know how to be any other way. I was nervous about entering another yoga studio. And I thought, how am I ever going to replace what I had? Because I was so proud of my community. And it wasn't just me, it was every single person that walked in the door. They were beacons of light. And that's what I've always tried to be for other people as well. And so I was afraid of how I would feel. I was fearful, you know. But what I realized is I needed to lean into the fear and I needed to be open to a new yoga community, a new yoga studio, yoga space. And I remember my first class was with Amanda, and I'd never done Hatha before. And I've been yogi for, 30 plus years, never done Hatha. And it blew me away. Like, I was like, holy moly, this is ridiculously hard, but amazing. Super challenging, totally not what I would consider myself to be as a yogi. I'm very organic. You know that. Yeah. I don't prep for classes, maybe just my music, because I am into the music, but never go in with the idea of certain postures I'm going to do or maybe a certain type of breathing exercise or anything. I go in, I close my eyes, I feel the room, and then I proceed. Where Hatha is so disciplined, and I never knew I needed it so desperately. I look forward to that class every week because you can see how you grow, how much stronger you get, how much more flexible you are. Like the things that you never thought you could do, you're doing over time, because it's the same postures.
Yeah.
And I just, again, and then just kind of eased into all the other amazing classes. And then I met Amanda Hatcher, who's just
she's
incredible at what she does. And it just seeped out of her just by, her and I are similar creatures. We always say that because we're both, studio owners and instructors for a long time. But she just an absolutely fantastic job with that community. And you can feel it in the people that walk in the door, which is what I always wanted, is a space for people to come and just be, but also know that they're coming in and feeding everybody else because they're so positive. And you always feel that when you walk in the door.
Absolutely.
So I'm just so grateful that I met you. I met all these amazing people, through it by being open to fear. Because I was scared. I was shaking in my boots.
And how did you choose that studio? Because there are so many options here.
Well, again, I think the universe was just kind of conspiring for me because it was hitting my Facebook feed, which is weird because I wasn't really seeking out yoga studios. I really wasn't. I was like, nah, I'm good. I got my yoga community in the neighborhood. I'll do my own practice. I'll be fine. I'm good, And so I was starting to feel some kind of physical menopause kind of hips and back and neck and all that kind of stuff and feeling really stiff in my body. And I knew I needed to kind of level up a little bit in my physical practice because I was feeling it physically. And the Yoga Mix kept coming up in my Facebook feed. And so I'm like, well, let's just check out this studio. So I did a little, Facebook stalking. And of course, the reviews are fantastic. And I just took a leap. I leaned in. I still can't believe how scared I was. Like I was physically shaking walking in that door. Huh. So it's one of those things as a yogi, where we never stop growing. I have 30 plus years of experience. So what? It doesn't matter. You know what I mean? I've been teaching for almost 20. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Because we just have to be always...
Because we are different people.
Yes, absolutely. And I always say beginner mind, beginner heart. When I go into anything, whether I've done it forever or never, I'm just going to go in and just have this mindset of, I've never done this before. It's going to be awesome.
And it's always
It always is.
unbelievable, yeah.
And if it's not so awesome, then okay, Lord. What are you trying to teach me today? You know? Okay. All right. You know?
You know, your story is so similar to mine with Yoga Mix. So when I moved here in 2022, I moved in the summer and I did some traveling. And then when I came back and settled, I started my health coach training.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
That was
Yeah.
2022. So I was doing classes online and all, and I was doing my yoga in the morning. It was summer, so I have a screening back porch. Every night I would tell my husband, that is the perfect studio because I do it outside. I love to practice outside.
I know you do.
And the sun comes in
Yeah.
and I'm in the sunshine.
Yeah.
It's so perfect. I'm happy doing my classes and all. And so I had a knee surgery in the beginning of 2021.
Okay.
I torn my ACL and I had an ACL replacement. Then one day, my daughter plays soccer, right? So she was playing soccer in high school and she had a ankle sprain. And I took her to the Cherokee place here in Maryland.
Okay.
And I'm sitting there waiting for her. Then comes his gentleman and the name tag says Joe Black. And guess what? I had a Joe Black friend,
Okay.
like a close dear friend in Kansas. Hey, Mr. Joe Black. I do have a question. I had knee surgery and it's been that long and my knees is still like not 100% back, normal range of motion, and I'm worried. And he looked at me and said, do you do any exercise? And I said, yes, I do yoga every morning at home. You should try Yoga Mix.
Oh my goodness.
I said, okay. There's this class on Thursdays. I go there. Have you seen Joe?
Yes, Joe, we would go to Amanda's Thursday Hatha
Yes.
when we had Thursday Hatha.
Yes,
Now it's my class, but yeah. I
So
remember he would be in the back.
He is
Yes, older gentleman.
He is white.
Yeah. Oh my
remember
goodness.
that.
See,
So
he was meant to be there to tell you to do that. See,
Yeah.
I think it's they're angels.
Yeah.
You know, and
and
then,
it was so incredible. And I said, I'm not gonna try any other yoga studio.
right.
That is my place.
I know.
Because
I know.
knew it was
It was meant
the
to
right
be.
place. Yeah. Because there's one really close.
Oh, alchemy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
the Alchemy,
Yeah.
But I've never went
No,
there to
no.
check. Because I said,
I feel my feeling with yoga, and I've always said this as a teacher for so long, and I had seen so many amazing students come in and out of my life, is I've always said you need to go where you're being fed. And if it's in my studio, fantastic. If it's not, go somewhere else and get that cup filled up. Because to me, yoga has to feel good. It has to make you feel better than when you arrived. And I don't care if you're having the best day of your life. Like, in my opinion, again, and I've been a yogi a long time, you know, I always feel better. I always go out of there and go, oh my gosh, that was amazing. Yeah. And when I'm not doing it, like this week was weird with the cold weather and the ice and a lot of classes were canceled and stuff. I was off my yoga game. I felt it. I felt it like yesterday. I woke up yesterday morning and I was starting to get grumpy because I wasn't practicing and I wasn't being fed. You know, because yoga is just one of those things that if it's a part of your daily and then you don't have it, you feel it. Yeah. Even the sense of community at the yoga mix. Like, yeah, I did some yoga in my home gym, you know, because I practice every day in some capacity. It just wasn't the same.
oh yeah, it's not.
It's not,
Yeah,
you know.
I do it every morning too.
Yeah. And you know, like
least, yeah,
it's
at
the
least
energy
30
that you get by community.
Yeah.
Comes back down to that community is feeling like you are a part of something, which we are. You know, it's not just a feeling, it is a being. It's a state of being. Is you get there and you know that you're being not only fed, but you're feeding other people.
Oh yeah.
And that's so, to me, that's so powerful.
Yeah.
Is
The
to
energy exchange.
Yes.
Is really what
Yeah.
is, yeah.
And you don't get that if you're in your own practice. You know, yeah, you get that kind of internal energy that you get from going inward, but when you're sharing space with other people. And again, that's another just a magical thing about yoga is yogis are seekers. And I'm a seeker. Like I always say I vibe on a seeker. And people that are just seeking out new opportunities, new relationships, new perspectives, new views, growth, right? They wanna learn and grow, whether it's a physical thing or a mental or spiritual, emotional, whatever it is. And there's something so magical and powerful about yogis is we're not in the same boat for sure, but we're all kind of leaning into the idea of I'm going to do this because it's good for me. And I love that about yoga. Like you just kind of feel that seeping off people. Yeah. It's powerful. It is.
It's magical.
I know. I don't know what I would do without yoga. Yeah. Like I always say, I pity the fool who doesn't do yoga. Like, because it's that good. Yeah. It's that good. It is. But you have to be open to it. Like I wasn't open to it, and look at what happened to me. So that's why I tell people, I'm like,
it's so interesting because since a very young age, yoga was always in the back of my head.
Yeah.
But I didn't have any opportunities to practice until I was 40.
Wow. And I was the opposite. I was all about, you got to sweat. Exercise is sweating. And so I was just this kind of like gym rat for as long as I can remember. Yoga never even kind of hit the back of my head or my heart or anything, which is surprising to me because I've always been a very spiritual person. And you would think it would be just this evolution of spirit to go into going into a yoga practice and then meditation and all of that. But no, I still thank my friend Lucy, who I worked with at the time, who told me I should stay because I needed it. And then I would love for my first yoga teacher to see me now, because she told me after 3 classes, she came up to me and she said, Angie, she goes, you've been bit by the yoga bug. And she says, I can see light around you. The dark person that I was, to have somebody say they saw light in me. And that's another thing. Like when someone gives you a compliment like that, you start to believe it. I did. I started to believe that I have light around me. And that was kind of like my mantra of coming out of the darkness and coming out of the shadows and not coming out of the eating disorder and all of that. I think it was because I was starting to trust myself and love myself, from the inside out. Mm-hmm. The size of my clothes didn't matter as much as how I felt on the inside. And then it was an evolution. Yeah.
So as you touched eating disorder, is there anything on that?
I will tell you. No, I think, I look back at that kind of mindset of why I was heavier than I am. I mean, I'm 30 pounds-ish lighter than I was then, but I wasn't a big person. I was like a size 10, so I wasn't a large person. I think it comes from, as a kid, people kind of poke fun at you and kind of like that, but not to be hurtful, but just kind of say playful things. And it kind of put me in kind of this mindset of that I was fat and I was ugly. And so back then in, late 80s, early 90s, that's what we did. We did the diet pill thing. We did the laxative thing. We did the purging and the starvation. Like, it was trendy. I hate to say it. I can look back at a lot of my girlfriends at the time. We were all kind of in that cycle of not taking care of ourselves, and yoga, saved me. It saved me. I mean, the funny thing is I was like maybe 6 months or so into my practice, and my body started changing, and I was losing weight and not even trying. And my mother-in-law had an intervention. She thought I was doing something to myself to hurt myself, but it was just a physical transformation that was coming from just finding something that made sense for my body. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, yes, not worrying about
that stress mode, right?
And it's a cycle, I would not be honest if the little bulimic girl in the back of my head, she still rears her ugly head at times. I think as women, and I know men struggle with it too, but I think as women, we worry so much about our physical appearance, especially as we get older. And there's so much pressure to look younger than we are.
But it's just ridiculous.
Which is just ridiculous. I will never go down that path. I mean, I have a loving, wonderful husband that loves me as I am. So I've never really done anything to physically change my body. I just won't. It's not mine. Whatever makes you happy, I want people to do that. But it's just never something I would ever want to do. I like my wrinkles. I like looking my age, you know. I love saying I'm going to be 55. Yeah, you know, I love that. I'm proud of my journey. I'm proud of my path. But, you know, sometimes, you know, you get in kind of like this mindset of like, you know, but I've never ever done anything that would ever make me goes back into those kind of habits. But I think those kind of shadows that we have, they're there. They're a part of who we are. Yeah. Exactly. And to say that it just went away would not be the truth. I have greater awareness of it. And then I just start all that positive self-talk and all that positive dialogue, you know, you're enough, you know, and it just kind of get on my yoga mat. And that seems to always be the cure all. Get on my mat, close my eyes, start taking a deep breath and start moving. Yeah. And then it just kind of, all those things start to fade away, you know. So.
And that awareness, and that is just the key.
It is.
Because it's there. You know it's there.
Right.
It's part of us.
And own it.
Yes.
Own the dark places. Own our shadows. Because we all have them. But I do believe that there's light in everything. There's light in everything. Every living thing, there's light. And I take it upon myself to see light in all things. And even on the dark days, there's light there. You have to shift that perspective and awareness to light. And it is truly just an absolutely wonderful, wonderful mindset to have. I'm so grateful that I have that. Like, I know it, that I have it, you know, that I can be like, okay, you know what? I'm having a moment. I'm feeling dark right now. I'm feeling uncertain. I'm scared. Own it, own it, own it, own it. And then, and feel it. Right. And right. And I think yoga too, it's again, you know, sit with it. Sit with it. Sit with the stuff that is really dark and heavy. Feel it. Go through it. Like, don't push it aside. Don't resist it. I'm all about a good cry. I'm all about getting angry, and as long as I let it out, you know. And so, I mean, that's why that F-bomb yoga thing came about with my studio. It was a way of finding release and not hurting or harming anybody, but feeling it, letting it flow through you. And
it is so important.
It is. Yeah. It is. Yeah. I mean, I always wonder what I would do if I didn't have that awareness, you know, because I know I wouldn't be the light and bright person I am right now, because I'd be carrying a lot of garbage, a lot of heaviness, you know.
And that is why I think it's so important for us to have those conversations. And
absolutely.
The idea of the podcast, to share, because people sometimes they think they are the only ones that have that shadow.
Right.
They are the only ones that are having a bad day. But no. We all have those things. We all have bad days. We all have that inner critic. We all have that shadow that is there. That past, that trauma, that whatever. It's just a matter of having awareness.
Telling your story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is so powerful, because people see the person you are.
Yes. And I mean, I have to say, I didn't really get comfortable with really telling my story until I probably hit my mid-40s. And I don't know, I had like this moment, this epiphany, and I'm pretty confident it happened on my yoga mat, because most of them happen when I'm sitting with myself, you know. I just thought, well, you know what? At the end of the day, I'm going to tell my story. And you never know by telling your story, like having this podcast. Someone's listening going, me too. Me too. Oh my gosh, I had no idea that she went through that. Oh my gosh. You know, and there's so much power in that.
Oh yeah.
Because by being transparent, by telling our stories, by being vulnerable, about talking about the things we struggle with, then there is this common ground that we have with someone maybe we've never had with them. Like someone come up to me and say, I had no idea you had an eating disorder, Angie, so did I. and you can have a conversation about it.
Through your own existence.
Through your own...
You are living proof that it is possible to overcome everything.
100%.
With awareness, with a positive mindset, right?
Yes, and just the power of believing in things you can't see.
Yeah,
you know,
your own mindset, like,
and
what is the contribution? What should I learn from this situation?
Yes,
and going from there.
You have to.
Yeah.
I mean, we cannot be stagnant. We have to keep moving and growing and being open. I mean, I talk to my kids a lot, you know, they're young adults now, like yours are as well. And I'm always like, just be open. Just be open. You never know. Don't say no. You just don't know. Your next amazing opportunity could be around the corner. Be open to it. You just, because you don't. Like, I think about all the joys in my life, and I have so many joys in my life. I'm so grateful for everything I have, including meeting my husband. That was a fluke. But God brought him to me. Yes. Like being... about that. Okay, Ken. Yeah. So, I mean, I got very blessed to find my love of my life at 19.
Wow.
Yes. Which was, again, God had his hands in my life. And I wasn't supposed to be at the party the night I met him. I had just gotten out of another relationship. You know, I was 19, so it wasn't really a relationship. But, you know... And I didn't want to go. I wasn't going to go. And then at the last minute, I was kind of forced to go as a third wheel that night. And it was kind of one of those cheesy, like, see each other across a crowded room moment, like, seriously. But I knew.
Wow.
I knew that he was my person at 19. And, you know, at 19, you know, he was 22, I was 19. And it was just... again, being open to going someplace I didn't think I wanted to go and meeting new people that I didn't want to meet. And you know what I mean? And I met my person that night, you know, and it's just talk about gratitude.
Oh, yeah.
To be able to have a true love of my life, you know, and it just keeps getting better because now we're empty nesters and that's pretty amazing. Just saying. So it's this evolution of my life with him and what it is and what it will be is pretty awesome. Cool. So, yeah.
Oh my gosh. I'm so happy for you.
Yeah.
I'm so grateful that I have you in my life, that community, the Yoga Mix community that I absolutely love.
Me too.
And all the beautiful souls that I've met through there.
Well, I think it's truly amazing that you're doing this and for leaning into something that you're so natural at and it just makes sense for you. And you're a published author. That is so exciting.
Yeah, I'm excited.
That is very, very cool. Now, again, just because of your kids, what were you thinking when you wrote that, when you did your book about the college experience?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So the introduction of the book, I tell the whole story.
I have to get your book.
My story.
Okay.
Because it's interesting, during my health coach training, I've met like zillions of people and they all had a health issue.
Yeah.
And women like having menopausal symptoms and hormonal issues and IBS, you name it.
Yeah.
I was always healthy my whole life. I didn't have anything. I always loved nutrition and a healthy lifestyle. I always loved exercise and everything, but never had anything.
Yeah.
And then when you go through your business plan, you have to pick a niche. And they teach you how to pick a niche. So look back the moment of your life that you were on your knees, like at the rock bottom.
Yeah.
The saddest moment. And I kept thinking and thinking and thinking. And the moment was with my son when he went to college. And 3 months later, he got depressed and anxious.
Yeah.
And I had to go rescue him. That was the saddest moment of my life.
Yeah.
And I kept asking myself, how come I did not see that before? That he was not ready. And why was he not ready?
Right.
Gosh, he was he had it all. So that was the driving force. So
I love that.
Yeah. What I'm trying to do, because he tried to go back and it didn't work. He tried online, didn't work. And he decided not to. And he's finding his path. But I said, I think I can help other
I think it's amazing.
moms and
Yes,
other
yes.
people that are going through this, and giving them just a little bit of knowledge and tools
And insight.
to bring awareness
Yep.
about
Yep.
how to.
Yeah, it is a challenging time, I think, for our kids and as parents. Both my kids have gone through it. And both my kids took gap years because they were kind of where your son was at. They knew what their next step should be, but they weren't ready, and all of their peers were going to school, had their majors, picked their universities, their colleges, whatever their paths. And my son actually kind of led the way for my daughter to just step back and take a gap year. He went to Nepal for a year and just did a lot. It was pretty awesome. I'm like, I want to go. But it gave him some room to breathe and to experience life from a different lens. And it didn't have to be the college path that everybody else was taking. And then when he was ready, he was ready. Same with my daughter. She went to London, And then when she was ready, she was ready. There's so much pressure on kids, to follow all of their friends, and some kids just know. My kids did not, and so I think it's amazing that you wrote a book on it, because I think as parents, we do our best to know where our kids are at, but it's kind of hard, especially if they're not really open to communicating with us, because I have one kid that's an introvert and the other's an extrovert. They're two totally different kids. I'm sure your kids are too, because you have a son and daughter as well, and we do our best to be there for them. But sometimes we just don't know where they're at until they're in it.
Yeah. That is exactly what happened with me.
Yep.
So, so that's why.
I think that's incredible.
Yeah, so.
I wrote a book.
You did?
I did.
Tell me.
So, 2009, I wrote a children's book on yoga.
Oh, goodness.
Yes.
That's awesome.
So it was just a sweet little storybook that, again, my daughter was doing. No, actually, it was my son, Cooper. He was I can't even remember what grade he was in. He was in elementary school. And they had a author's month. And he just came home and he said, Mom, you should write a children's book on yoga. Just like that. And I'm like, pause for a minute. I'm like, okay. That's exactly. I was like, okay. And so it just kind of poured out of me. It was a real simple book, beautiful illustrations. I had a wonderful artist do the illustrations for me from my hometown. I'm in Saginaw, Michigan, Susie McColgan. Yeah, Animals Do Yoga and So Do I. That's the name of the book. It's on Amazon, I believe. I don't know. I didn't really do much with it. My publishing experience, I don't know how yours was, but it wasn't great. I learned a lot, though. I learned a lot. If I ever decide to write another book, I'll go in a different, probably. Did you self-publish?
Yes.
Okay. So I will definitely go down that route of self-publishing. I didn't know. I was so excited to do it that I didn't get enough education on the publishing process, and it is what it is. But anyways, it was fun. It was fun. It's just one of those things okay. Did you have kind of that moment of okay, I'm going to do this? Or was it, okay?
Yeah, this whole book thing was really, really interesting. Because I do believe God guides us in
100%.
everything we do.
Yes.
But particularly with this book, I was so supported. And I was guided every step of the way.
I totally get that, because I look at a lot of the crossroads in my life or decisions I've made. I've had kind of you're just literally being, you don't want to say you're being led, but you are.
Yes.
So I totally get that.
I felt it so strongly. Because at the beginning, I started writing a blog, and I was having so much fun with the blog. Mm-hmm. And then every time my neighbor, she's lovely. She's also a coach, but she's a life coach.
Okay.
And we walk together. We get along pretty well. And she kept asking me, what about clients? What about clients? And I was about to launch something to get some clients. And then this idea of the book just kept coming back. What
I
about
love
the
that.
book?
Yeah.
What about the book? What about the book? I said, oh my gosh, okay. I will write this book.
Yeah.
And then I decided, and I found an editor that was also brought to me.
Oh my gosh.
Once I started, I knew.
Did it just start pouring out of you?
Yeah.
I would think that would be part of the process of, I've always kind of in the back of my mind and my heart thought about, I would write a book about my yoga experiences, like lessons on and off the mat kind of thing. Because there's just so much I've learned from yoga through the people I've met, through my own internal practice, all that. But I would think it would be one of those things that when the time is right, it pours out of you. Was that your experience?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
What happens about timing is that now my daughter is going to college.
Oh boy.
So the book is a gift to her.
I love that. Love that.
And to all her friends. So the first book signing event we're doing in Kansas in March.
How exciting.
Because both my kids want to go back to see their friends in Kansas.
Okay.
And it's a spring break. And
Perfect.
all my daughter's friends are going to be there. So they all will be able to have access to it.
The book is such a great resource. Like, I wish I would have had it.
Oh,
You
yeah,
know.
me too. Me
Right.
too. And I literally
Right.
say that.
Right,
in the-
right.
yeah.
Yeah. Do you remember when we were kids? Did you remember having that kind of pressure on you when it was time to go to school?
Oh, yeah.
Really? Because I didn't go to college right
You
away.
didn't. No.
No.
You didn't have that pressure?
No. I did not. All my friends went to college right out of high school. I did not. I actually ended up working. I had a great job working full time. I was a manager of a clothing store, and I was enjoying myself doing that. So I took a year or so to work and make money and have that kind of responsibility. At 19, it's kind of
very cool.
it was very cool. And then, at that time I met my husband, and then he kind of like put the little bug in my ear to, hey, maybe it's time to start some college courses. And I went into it just like, oh, I'll go to community college and like do art history and child development and and psychology. And that kind of led me into getting into my undergrad and then eventually getting my master's. But it was always kind of like
The flow.
it was just kind of like, it wasn't like, oh, I have to do this at this time of my life because everybody else is doing it. I guess it just, again, comes all back to the idea of having faith and knowing that when the time is right, I'll know. Though, don't you love that you have that awareness? 'Cause,
Now I do. Yeah. Oh, my gosh. Absolutely.
right? I didn't really, no pun intended, be aware of my awareness until my 40s. And then it was just,
Yeah,
it was so powerful of like, whoa, okay.
Yeah. And that is why I'm talking about in the book. Because this is something that I just recently found in my life.
Yeah.
So those are the things I believe we should teach those kids at school.
I agree. 100%.
How to take care of themselves,
Yes.
how to be aware, how to be self-aware, how to,
Yes.
to feel their emotions, how to process the whole thing. So that is what I'm talking about.
And talking about it's okay to not be okay. And it's okay to make a decision that not everybody else is doing. And for kids, it's hard as adults, keeping it real. It's hard as adults to have that mindset. Yeah, I just think it's tremendous and that you did that and that you're offering that to families because it is such a challenging time of life for everybody.
Oh, yes.
Because they're going out on their own,
Yeah.
And you have
And
to.
we just want them to be well.
I always tell my kids happy, healthy, and self-sustaining. I don't care what it is, where you go, who you're with, as long as you're happy, healthy, and self-sustaining. And if you do need to come home, well, then come home. But happy and healthy, number one, number two. And then ideally you want them to be independent, but God has other plans and they come home for a bit. And that's okay too. And you have to let them know that,
Yeah.
because I think
The doors are always
open.
Yeah.
Because I think there is pressure where they feel like they need to be on their own, but we always are there for them.
Yeah.
You
This
know.
is something I came to understand, and I'm working really hard to accept that every person is different and their time is different. We don't force a rose to bloom.
No.
So we just have to be patient.
Yeah.
And
Plant
nurture
seeds.
the environment
Yeah.
so they can bloom.
Yeah. I always say just plant your seeds, and some will bloom and some won't, but just keep planting them and just be open when it does bloom. I always say get ready. Have you ever done vision boards?
Yeah, look at mine.
Oh, you got.
They're in the corner.
I see.
So there. So we'll talk about that later.
Oh my goodness, because that to me is kind of like a planting a seed kind of thing. My husband calls me a power manifester.
Oh yeah.
I have a lot of stories about that, but anyways, yeah, vision boards are fun. They are kind of like planting seeds,
Oh my gosh, I could talk to you the whole day.
Yay!
So for us to wrap up, how would you like people to find you if they want to go to your classes or if they want to listen to you and your band?
So if you'd like to join me in a yoga practice, you can meet me on the mat at the Yoga Mix in Alcoa. I teach all levels, all ages, all stages. So I'd love to see you on the mat. You can follow me there. You can go to their website at the Yoga Mix. You can also follow my musical journey on my personal page, Angie Miller, or you can follow my band page at the Smuggler'Z, Smuggler with a Z at the end. We're on Facebook, we're on YouTube. Would love to share everything that I love with y'all. So I hope to see you, hear from you. And thanks, Anna, for having me. You're such a special person.
Thank you. So I'll have everything in the show notes so people can find everything easily and get to you.
Is there anything else that you want to mention that I didn't ask?
No.
That you feel like
No.
I would love for you to finish the way you finish your classes that I absolutely love.
Oh, my blessing?
You're going.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll just take a moment, close our eyes, bow our heads, bring our hands to our hearts. For this is our opportunity to bow to light. Light within us, light we share in common, light that we create each time we show up to this sacred practice. And as we bow, we'll take a moment to recognize the light in ourselves and in every single being as we end this session, this podcast today, with the blessing of Namaste. Namaste, Anna.
Namaste, Angie. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So
Thank you guys so much for listening. It means a lot to me that you chose to be here. To help Mama Terra's mission of making the world a disease-free place for generations to come, you can follow the show, write a review, or talk to your friends about it. You can also subscribe to my newsletter. Every week, I craft good health and wellness tips, recipes, and book recommendations with love and care, just for you. My intention is to give you information and resources to help you make good choices and feel well. Find the link to subscribe in the show notes. Follow me on Instagram and Facebook. Thank you again for being here. We have lots of new episodes coming up, so stay tuned. And remember, good is what makes you feel well.
Transcende, levita, toma banho de cachoeira, abraça uma pessoa amiga, corre na chuva, escala